Anthony, welcome in our office. It's very big pleasure to have you here.
Pleasure is shared.
Yeah, cool.
Absolutely.
Small notes, we're both francophone from France, and we're speaking in English here. So anyway, for the purpose of the content.
Yeah.
Look, now I have you here. I would like to get a bit news about you, about SwissBorg, about everything that is happening, getting as much knowledge I can, from you. Around everyone calls you the Oracle, right? So I'll try to get as many data as I can,
Okay,
right?
Cool.
So now maybe you can tell us about SwissBorg, few words. Everyone knows, but maybe you can refresh a bit our mind about the product, the company.
Cool. So a quick recap on SwissBorg. So we started this journey in 2017 out of Switzerland. Right, so yeah, times fly. It's 8 years. Of course, the space has changed and evolved a lot. It was a different time. So we're born out of what we used to call ICO, which was the crowdfunding of crypto, where we invite community to build together, so to assemble money. Ethereum is born out of an ICO. And then because of that and because of the success of Ethereum, especially in 2017, you had all these different companies, thousands of them, that were using the same model as Ethereum to raise money and to develop protocol, application, a very large range of product within crypto to gain what we call mass adoption, right? So
yeah.
That was the objective. Of course, from these 10,000 companies, very few are left today. But the interesting part is when you look at the big players today, such as Aave, MakerDAO, all the OG of Ethereum, they have been built during this time.
Yes, indeed.
And we are one of them. So
yeah.
We're one of the survivors. SwissBorg, the goal of SwissBorg is to give anyone the opportunity to invest in the crypto in a very, very simple manner, right? I think today, the evolution of the space has been tremendous in terms of getting access. But back then in 2017, if you wanted to buy Bitcoin even with your euro or a credit card, it was very difficult, to put it simple. So when we started this journey at SwissBorg, we really wanted to invite the vast majority of people that do not want to have, for example, to manage their own wallet, or don't want to go to the nightmare of finding your friends that take your cash and then give you crypto. We wanted to create an app that is very simple to use and give the opportunity to anyone to invest in crypto. Why? Because we believe into the long-term thesis for crypto assets. And I think, of course, a lot has happened since then. Now we have 1 million users, mainly based in Europe, regulated entity. We have 250 employees. We did a Series A 3 years ago that we open again with our community. So we're fully backed by community. We have no VC, no bank. So it really, like this freedom help us to really build something that I think is unique in Europe. And as you can see, there is less and less actors that are regulated in Europe that want to work the art path, and we're one of them. And yeah, we keep going with this journey. We've done many developments since then. So not only you can buy crypto with SwissBorg, but you can invest with staking. We give you access as well to what we call primary deal, which are companies in crypto that are raising money before they release their token. But you get access very early into the journey of a crypto assets. And that's what we are going to do, and that's what we do. We really take the guesswork out of crypto, and we build a frictionless access to crypto where you can transform. If you're excited about the idea of being exposed to crypto because you believe in it, then we give you the shortest path to transform this idea, this conviction, into investment decision.
Yeah, and that's very inspiring. Because when I think about SwissBorg, I think about vision from day one. Right, you spotted from day one that entering into crypto was a difficult, challenge to undertake, and one of your mission was to really simplify, right, the journey. And how is it going so far, right? I mean, simplifying the adoption of crypto, because not only buying crypto remains for the vast majority a difficulty, but there is so many other things, right? New ICO, token launch, there is DeFi, etc. How SwissBorg continue to facilitate, right, the access to all these new tools through the platform?
Absolutely. I think the one of the pillars of how SwissBorg has been built on is UX. So as you say, there is new experiences. Every time there is new experiences, there is DeFi, right? That will offer yield. There is mining. There is investing into different company. So we take all these experiences that come with different string of complexity. We go with the product team. We're trying to really understand the entire journey of investing within these different opportunities that arise from crypto. And then we're trying to simplify without losing the transparency, without losing the understanding, but we're really trying to simplify that in few clicks within the app, that you get the full filtered experience. We remove all the friction, the transfer of wallets, potentially the selection process to an extent. And then we deliver that to you. And we're trying to aggregate that within one interface that you just have to dialogue with, because you don't want to be very quickly in crypto when you go to the other side and you become more the mechanician of crypto. And I think you're very well placed to talk about this. Is you end up with a lot of wallets, gas fees, RPC, and it's a lot to manage. And to be honest, even myself, after 8 years, sometimes I feel, wow, how can I have so many tokens in so many network, right? And I completely give up on even selling them, which end up very badly into a situation like today. So I think that's what we're trying to do, is to say there is certain chaos that come with investing in crypto, and we want to simplify this chaos. But of course, from chaos arise opportunity. Even though, from my very, very personal standpoint, I think we are a little bit at a turning point in crypto, where there's a bunch of models that have been helping the space to progress in the past 8 years. But I think these models that are somehow reaching an end, and we are we need to open a new chapter.
Okay.
And especially when you look at this cycle, I think it's a good testimony of why crypto need to mature. I think we're very far from what was the initial goal. And there is a lot of questions I feel are unanswered and needs to find a solution. But as everything, I believe we went to one extreme. We forget why we come here in the first place. And I guess there will be a return to a mean. But that's essentially. I think we are in this age where it's not easy to be in crypto. Let's be honest, for many reasons. And we might experience a few months, potentially years of still turmoil, but I believe for the best. You have to be patient.
You mentioned something important, and that is, we are at a turning point, right? That's interesting. We see as well that we are at a turning point in the international politics, geopolitics. We see what happens with the tariffs. But I think as the global economy is being reshaped, indeed, there might be reshape as well underway for the crypto industry. At least, like we were saying, I think uncertainty has spiked, and so we will see how this uncertainty turns into future economy.
And I believe the competitiveness as well of the space has changed a lot. And I observe that I'm more a guy that looking at the liquidity charts, potentially trading, and I see there is more and more sophisticated actors. But I believe you, as a miner as well, you've seen the complexity and the professionalism of the space evolve a lot.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, on our job 10 years ago, it was mostly, started with the CPU, GPU, era, in your garage, the gamers that turned into Bitcoin or crypto miners, right? Because it was a new stuff, and some believers already felt the opportunity. And turn the way we are today, right? Where you have professional facilities, right? Fully professional. You have a lot of manufacture. We are not in GPU anymore, right? It's a ASIC, application-specific integrated computer that has the computing power that is just insane, right? And as well providers like ours, which bring some extra services above mining, and for our case, it's just helping financial institutions to onboard into this mining journey. So yes, we've we've seen a lot of progress, and when I look into the future, I see that things are going to continue to change, and I believe for the better, because we are talking about sustainability being profitability as well, because most of the time when we think sustainability, it's always a bit of a challenge for a company. You say, hey, you have to be sustainable. Okay, another cost center, right? Through mining, I think what we are getting is, and with different mechanism leveraging carbon credit, we can push profitability of sustainable solution, which is not only profitable but feel good, right? Activity to be in. So again, like turning point, a shift in the way of doing.
Can I turn the interview upside down just for
one
question? Yeah, because what you're saying is make me think of something that I read not a lot about it, but I read sometimes things about it, and I'll be very curious to have your opinion. I think part of what is happening in the world right now with tariff, so you can spend a lot of time trying to understand and being focused on the technicalities and what will it mean. But I think to me is what I'm always interested is to say, okay, I think that's the reality we are on at the moment, regardless of how it's going to be resolved. I think the timeline that we were on before Trump, we have jumped to a new timeline. And it has put on perspective the transition of power in the world from the US to China or Asia. And some people are saying it's not even a question of from US to China, but it's more from government to digital nation. So that's another topic. But I think ultimately my understanding of the situation is, even if I extract myself from trying to understand what are the technicalities, how can I make money with it, but I look at the fact that I think we have changing timeline and now the world is set to a new agenda. I believe I want to focus on what are the long-term consequences. And one of the long-term consequences potentially is, as we see, more conservatism. So we want to, Trump want to bring back the industrial production to the US. And most probably every country is going to start to race to be more autonomous. That's the, like, it's a little bit the breakdown of this globalization. I think the way, I see these things evolve is, even if you bring back all the factories in the US, how are you going to find workers that are going to work there? Young people, they don't want to work in factory, right? So I think the corollary of that is more robotization. Anyway, it's not a surprise. We'll see the rise of robots and AI. It just go hand in hand. So my question to you is, in a world where GDP and financial transactions are going to be more and more influenced by robotics and AI and all this intelligence that is not relying on human, do you think Bitcoin will be the currency of transaction by excellence? And if yes, why do you think Bitcoin will be a superior asset or a superior transactional asset compared to, for example, stablecoin? I know it's a tough question.
No, that was a long one. I hope I will remember it all. No, look, I'm a firm believer in the value of Bitcoin for what it is. Right? Today, if you tell me what do you think is the greatest, USP of Bitcoin, I think it's the economical model coupled with high level of security, right? That makes me believe that Bitcoin is a storage of value, right, against inflation. Now, it doesn't mean that your storage of value needs to be your mean for transactions, right? So, and because it's really not made for it, right? You wait 5 minutes to get your Bitcoin, it costs you a lot in fees, etc. Good for the miners, by the way. So, but on the other side, if you tell me what you would use as a mean for transactions, I would use something more fast, more programmable. I believe it should be something as well very decentralized, right? Because we see the weakness that can come with too much control over something. So I would say yes, Bitcoin is definitely the future for the storage of value. And to go back to your point of this new generation, this new era, and how the transactions will operate, I believe that if the mean of transacting is a standalone something, right, you lose the value of it. I believe that the future will be a mean of transaction that is somehow, and we see it with the stablecoin, somehow coupled with the Bitcoin as a store of value, right? And I think that is the most powerful thing that you can build, right? The most performing asset in terms of store of value that powers the value of a mean of transaction that you use on a daily basis. There have been some tentative, right, with the Lightning Network. Well, very difficult to implement for the builders, but there are others, right? Some layer 2 that are building on top of Bitcoin, etc. Yeah. So yeah, in my ideal world, tomorrow the robots, they will talk to each other. They will have some store of Bitcoin somewhere, that represent the value they have or they store, and they transact with another mean, like a synthetic token somewhere on another chain, still decentralized.
Okay, cool.
Are we there?
I mean, from what I read outside, I think it was Arthur Ayas. To me, the most compelling argument I've read about this very topic. But I just say there is the value, there is what is the network or the protocol that I use for transaction, because potentially Bitcoin in itself as a network, as a protocol, is not the most performant. But it was saying robots care about energy, and the best currency that we have, that is the pure reflex of energy, it is stored energy, because you have to process through mining. It's Bitcoin. And because of that, because robots don't care about anything else than energy, they will use Bitcoin
and it's great that you talk about the relationship that exists between Bitcoin processing and energy. We had the chance to meet some professionals here in the UAE. That job is basically to use, and I quote them, to use Bitcoin as a battery. Right, so I can really literally quote them. Right, so they are handling the excess of power here for the government. We're talking about close to a gigawatt of energy.
Interesting.
And they are directly plugged to Bitcoin mining to use it. And again, they use it as a battery. For them, it's just nothing else than a battery. And it's powerful because it gives you the relationship that there is between Bitcoin and energy. And moving forward and looking how potentially my industry will be transformed in the coming years, we see all those new solutions that arise, heating your water at home through Bitcoin mining, because at the end of the day, the energy is consumed and it's producing heat. Why don't just use the heat that is produced to do something useful with it, right? So that's an alternative way of mining Bitcoin through, heating water. There is as well, when you run gigawatts of energy like a country like this, integrating, Bitcoin mining in your strategy helps you to, smoothen, the efficiency of your system, and making sure there is no single byte, or I would say byte of energy, piece of energy that is wasted along the way. So yeah, I think on this side for the mining, the future will get closer, and Daniel Batten, with a strong influencer in the Bitcoin mining space and relationship with energy, I think would agree to say that in the future there will be a stronger correlation between Bitcoin and energy of any source.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
So, and because SwissBorg, simplicity from day one, but I know that now you're working on another, I wouldn't say topic because it's still the same topic, but I would say on another vertical, right, of the SwissBorg business. Can you tell us a bit more about BorgPad?
Yeah, absolutely, with great pleasure. Part of the journey of SwissBorg is to sell. So of course, we believe in Bitcoin, Ethereum, all the main assets, but we want to give the opportunity for people to be early in other assets that potentially will be the next unicorn, or that will have an influence into the ecosystem as a positive as well. So I think, for example, just going back to the thinking principle, if you invest in Ethereum, you have an incentive. So if you are Ethereum holder, you have an incentive to invest into Aave. You have an incentive to invest into Uniswap. Why? Because there are fundamental bricks. There are businesses that are working on top of Ethereum, and they work together to make Ethereum a great ecosystem, a useful ecosystem. So by investing into a Uniswap, you somehow pumping, or you're helping your bag of Ethereum, because 100%. It works as a whole. So part of the journey of the crypto man is to identify projects that might help one ecosystem to rise, and as a whole, the ecosystem progress. So at SwissBorg, at some point we were saying we need to help startup and founders we need to help them because we have a great community, we have experience, And that's the most difficult part to have when you start anything in life. And especially in the world of today, like knowledge is, the barrier to entry to knowledge is getting to zero. IQ is going to zero with agent, right? AI. You can basically become a designer, you can become a copywriter. So all these different verticals can be, done very, very easily. What is the most valuable asset is community. That is still very difficult. And especially even more difficult in a world where it's very easy to recruit IQ. So the consequence of that is you can create content at a very, very large scale, and content is today noise, and you compete in the marketplace, extremely competitive. So only by generating content, it's very unlikely you're going to create a community. It's not enough. So when we help a startup to start, we give the exposure to our community. We don't force too much. There is natural, like for example, our first experience was SwissBorg, which is in gaming. And we have gamers within our community because we have 1 million users. So people who play games, they understand that gaming is, in general, into the Web2 world is a very, very large community. So if we build a superior experience in Web3, we're going to attract this guy and we're going to beneficiate as a whole. So part of our journey, and I use the same example as what Amazon has been doing. Amazon was in the business of selling books. At some point, they say we cannot only rely on publisher to have the book we want. So we're going to give the opportunity to anyone to publish a book on Amazon. And there was the Kindle moment and Amazon publisher moment. I have a PDF. I know how to write. I can transform that into PDF. Amazon give me all the opportunity. Because we're in the business of token, we need to have token to be great. And we need to lead with experiment because we're going to learn as 100%. Well, right? It's going to reflect. So we launched SwissBorg, we have another, there is SwissBorg, and recently we had BorgPad. There was an initiative that is still independent. I'm helping them a lot, but I'm going to gradually remove myself to help them rise as well to, their own rhythm, in a sense. And the initial thinking was to say, there is so many disinformation. Like as a founder today, to navigate the space is so difficult. And there is what we call the sex cartel, which is mainly all the centralized exchange, plus the market maker. They've been building a business model that is so juicy for them, so juicy. And founders, they sell token to friends, family, community, and then they feel trapped that they need to TGE, so issue their token at the best price with the best blah, blah, blah. And all of this doesn't exist, but they are really trapped into this loop of thinking because I list to an exchange, because I contract with a market maker, I have nothing to do and and my token will be successful. And there is thousands and thousands of examples that just show you, man, you're paying money for nothing. And when you pay money for nothing, you're taking money literally from the end of your community back to the system that is crushing the space. And we need to stop that. So the initial thinking of BorgPad was to give an alternative for founders to go to have a reality check. No one is going to save you for doing the hard job. You have to go out there, create the right content, address the right community, be with them. And it's complex because we are in the high-stake game. There is a lot of money that could be made and a lot of great things can happen. It's very competitive. And stop to trust because it's detrimental to the space. We've seen the altcoin market is absolutely terrible. I remember we were saying 2017 was the era of scam, and I'd never been, like at least the guy in 2017 that believe in, there might be what we call scammers, but I think they were more failed entrepreneurs than scammers, but they try very hard. And they helped the space to get where it is today because they evangelized, they were doing meetups, video, article, they're really, really working very hard. Today we have an anonymous team, you invest into a logo, it goes to zero, you move to the next one. And the entire exposure of the space is mainly driven by what we call centralized exchange that give you the worst shit ever. Because they have, it's only driven not by conviction, but by businesses. So long story short, with BorgPad, the objective was to give the opportunity for founders to do a TGE with decentralized technology because in 2017, we didn't have this luxury. None of what exists today was existing. There was no DEX, there was not, for example, a blockchain like Solana with very low gas fees, huge adoption, great wallets. Didn't have all of that. So of course, SEX, centralized exchange, play a huge role, but today you don't need them. And reality, and I think that's my message if there is any founder listening to that, the trader that you find on centralized exchange are the same that you're finding on chain. So you're paying a premium that has no justification. And we see that times and times and times and times. So the idea of BorgPad is to give you a very, very straightforward way to TG at minimal cost and at maximum impact. And don't fall into the trap of this, what we call the sex cartel. So that's the idea.
Always focus on community.
Yeah, we have to, right? I think the space, we don't realize how much the space is hurt because we've been taking too much shortcuts. And that's why I believe we might suffer for a bit of time from now, because we need a new breed of entrepreneur that go back to the fundamental, understand they are here not to make quick money, but operating in a business that potentially will get them into a journey of multiple years, like we did at SwissBorg, right? I'm still very keen to develop the ecosystem because we've been doing something that I believe is great, and it's a journey that you don't know how long it's going to take you. It's going to take you the time that is required, but you're ready to commit. We need this type of mentality into the space.
That makes me think, regarding this constant evolution that is requested by our young industry, right? That push founders and entrepreneurs that we are every day to, rethink our model, rethink the product, rethink the go-to-market, and the value proposition. And I was thinking some analogy with similar industry market, right, that have grown from day one. And the most obvious is the web, right, when with the internet bubble, etc. But I don't think that the web went through as many struggles as our industry is going, because a lot of people have made money, but a lot of people have lost their money as well. And I think it makes it very dramatic, right, for our particular industry. And I was thinking, right, what other industry could have suffered the same type of traumatic, right, ups and downs, right? And I was thinking of aviation, right? Because can you imagine the aviation industry, the rise of the aviation industry? For us today, taking a flight, going a bit anywhere in the world seems, very, very easy. But let's think about back in the days how this industry has grown from nothing, right? And how many difficulties they've got. Also the will from the entrepreneur that was there at the time, and even in the face of losing not only money but lives of people, right? I mean, back in the days you can say, bro, we've tried, it worked, but when it doesn't work, we lose the life of people. So maybe we should just stop, right? And I just feel, the will inside of the people, inside of the government, in the belief. Right, and I'm just thinking that, okay, when we compare it to web, we feel that we are suffering a lot. But maybe if we think a bit in a broader sense, other industries, I think it's part of a growth. It's part of the journey, I would say, and thanks to the will of people that are still here and want to make it fly. So I'm very positive about the future, and I think at the end of the day, the technique is here to bring some very useful solutions. And it's just gonna be great.
Yeah, I believe. Look, the fundamental on which crypto is built, they are still valid to this day. That we have less and less people that practice the fundamental of why crypto exists it's something, but it could be episodic, as you say, and then we're gonna have a golden age again. What is for sure is centralized power, especially with AI, like. Technology, and when I say technology, it's not necessarily, we don't have to think of only internet and computer. I think technology in general has rhymed with more concentration of power across history, right? Like you, I don't know, you were the better gather enterer of your tribe, right? And you can fish or you can kill animals. And you can feed your tribe for 1 week. You will have the prize, you will have the woman. Potentially, I think that was the price. And that's what you can get. But when agriculture comes, you're a farmer, you use automation, now you can feed the village for potentially a month or a year, right? It gives you power, right? It gives you even more power than just a few additional mates. You get the land, you can potentially right within the kingdoms, a bunch of things, and so on and so on and so on. So technology always give a single human or a group of human more power. So the fact that crypto stands as technology that helps to distribute power or to decentralize power is needed, and especially at the era of AI, because if you think about it, right, we talk about AGI, there's so many topics, then there is different topic as well, schools, AI can be conscious and stuff, but if we don't go to this lateral and we think, okay, let's say tomorrow, someone find a technology that give him the power of, because now we say AI will be more intelligent, like one AI will be more intelligent than the human combined. Imagine someone can merge himself with this technology. What is the incentive for him to distribute, so to share this technology? Maybe he just want to be God in himself, right?
Exactly, yeah.
What is the incentive for God to be God with others? Because then he's not going to be God anymore. It's very philosophical, but I believe it's going to happen sooner than we expect. So if we haven't developed technologies such as crypto that help the collective to own a piece of God, so I merge myself with God, but from the moment I do that, my governance is still governed by people that collectively own this piece of technology. I think, yeah, it's gonna be problematic for humanity. So the fact that we have crypto that is standing here as potentially the last resort of controlling the technological development to make it more distributed is essential. Are we going at the pace that is the necessary pace, not to be obsolete? That I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what I think from what you say, I'm a very firm believer of the end solution is a mix between blockchain and AI, right? Because when we think about AI, as we were discussing, there is AGI, right, as the greatest intelligence, but intelligence comes with very different things. And that's why this concept of general intelligence, first we ask ourselves the question, say, what is the intelligence? And then it's like opening another book where intelligence is so many different things. What I believe is blockchain, because AI is data at the end of the day, I think it can give back blockchain has the power to give back to people their identity, right? The ownership of their identity. Today, all the Web2 companies like Facebook, Google, most of people, they might not be aware, but those companies, they're stolen through terms and conditions, their identity, right? And they do a bit whatever they want. They train their model, they personalize the content, blah, blah, blah. What I find the beauty in blockchain is this power of giving back the identity and the ownership of it to the people, right? And with everything that it means, right? That you can become then the center of everything they do or people want to do with your identity, with what you do online, etc. So, but then at the end of the day, it's part of what users decide to do, because even though you put a software or a solution like this online, maybe people are going to say they don't care, you know? And it's something that we discuss and we understand together. But at the end, the guide, it's like say, hey, this salad is very good for your health, you might use it. And people end up in McDonald's, right? And what you can really do about it. So yeah, I think we understand the technology, even you better than I do from a decentralized standpoint. But yeah, very excited to see what the future will bring.
I was a big believer in social-fi. With different books, like one of the books is 10 Arguments to Delete Your Social Media Account Right Now. That is written by a guy called Jaron Lanier, something like this. He one of the first programmer of the internet. So he's seen it all, and he say, okay, that's the mistake we've made, and how, because web is free, then we have to build a business model that is actually antagonist with the initial intent of web, which is to distribute knowledge, to distribute the knowledge across people the fastest way, in the more accurate way possible. While now, what is my incentive as a social media to give you the content you want, right? Because if you have the content you want, you open the app, spend 30 seconds, and then close it. Because no one wants to spend too much time. I mean, we've been programmed to believe we want to spend time with technology, but how many days did you go to sleep and say, fuck, I spent another 10 hours on my phone, what the fuck? So the incentive of any technology that is being built on web, because it's free, is to get you stuck, because they show you ads. The more So it is the equilibrium by get you hooked, because they need to give you gradually a little bit of information. Otherwise, you say it's rubbish. I'm not going to use it. But I need to optimize this function where you have to discover what you come to discover, but it needs to take the longest time possible without you churning. That's the equation.
Yeah.
And that's very, very anti-humanistic, because this time that you spend wasting your time, and we believe it's for free, which is a fucking trick of the mind, because you spend the most valuable asset you have. It's not even your money, it's your time. And coming back to what you say, so the promise of SocialFi was to give back the data, help people to choose the algorithm, so to have to redefine our relationship with social media in a manner that is much less invasive. It's not really happening, because, as you said, people are so hooked. They don't care about all this privacy and stuff. That it's too complex. I forgot what I wanted to say, but I think yeah. So we'll see how these things evolve, but I think they are very critical, more than Web3 to. I think it's almost like the world is going to divide into sections, like people that are conscious that technology needs to evolve because we have a very toxic relationship with technology and devices. And some that they're just going to go because this company, they are giant, they are so big, they are so powerful, they know so much about us, right? And our generation, because how old are you, 40 years old?
Yeah.
Like the same as me. So we still, of course, we use technology. I use more than I wanted to, but it's part of the job I choose as well. It's part of my decision. But still, like until I was 15, it was not really part of my life.
No.
Right. So I think I'm still. I still define my identity by the friends I have, my family. I very much define my identity by who I am in the real world, as opposed to who I am in the virtual world. But the new generation is not like this. So now this company, they have immense power because they can delete you. They can erase you, from tomorrow if they want to. Yeah. So in that sense, as you said, digital identity is such an important topic. But again, Web3 didn't manage to break through. I think we're stuck into this loop of being very technical, and you're going to have this social graph, and and Instagram never leads by tell you, oh, this is our algorithm that is powered by GPU, that you will get that. They say, come on a fucking platform, put your photo, you're going to get you're going to get content that you love, and it's very simple. And that's what we fucking need in Web3 for things to evolve. And it doesn't happen. It creates some frustration, as you can feel with me, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We have to be optimistic.
Yeah, of course. We have to. Few last question, Otto.
Yeah.
What do you think this year will be for our industry? Some guess, right? Do you think, what's the scenario that foresees you? I can tell you mine after, but I don't want to bias you,
Okay. Look, I believe what is very clear now is Bitcoin is an asset on its own. I don't think it's going anywhere. It's going to live its life. And then you have the rest. And Ethereum is in big trouble for whatever reason. And I'm still a big Ethereum holder. And there is a part of me that, yes, I want to, for example, when I discuss with my CTO, is pro Solana because of the technical accomplishment of Solana. And I believe, yes, Solana is going to be a killer. But this part of me is still attached to what Ethereum stands as a philosophy and its community. And I identify a little bit less with what Solana community is, which is very technical, but there's a lot of memes and stuff. And there's a part of me that doesn't feel connected. So it's hard to predict. I think if the space is completely losing Ethereum because we're too obsessed with price and whatever, I think it's going to be a big loss because it's still the embodiment of the philosophy, the initial philosophy. There is a lot of progress that needs to be made. Yes. But yet this is a little bit the egregore, I think, of what Web3 is, while I'm not too sure Solana is as much connected. So I would like to see both finding their place because I believe both of them deserve to an extent to be there. It's hard to predict though, it's going to be evolved. As you say, The world is so dominated by AI. We've seen an AI season, but come on, it was a chatbot, and there's a bunch of topics about AI and censorship of AI, ownership of AI. We decide that where crypto can play a huge role, but it's not happening. But I'm hopeful it could happen. There is things such as Tao, BitSensor, and different other ecosystems that I believe can play a key role. So that needs to be clearly being watched and followed. If you're an investor, you have no choice. You have to know what you're doing with this topic. They are going to be so important. Obviously, the biggest narrative of all that is pushed everywhere is robotic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
everyone's saying that's the next 1000x, right? Because it's like cars. Everyone is going to have robots. It's no one can deny that. I believe crypto is going to play a role there. It's hard for me to connect the two, but I see already people saying, for example, okay, this robot needs geospatial data. How we get there? We have deep in network. They are more efficient than, like, for example, you take HiveMapper. The precision of the data are better than what Google Maps is doing.
Ah, really?
Yeah, it's updated in real time. So there's so much application. So most probably Depin that is still under the radar in crypto, because of robotic, is going to play a huge role. So you pick the winners, you're going to be a winner as well. That's definitely a topic that we need to look at. But globally, I think we've seen. So what we've seen this cycle is we've seen mini cycle within special narrative. So you had AI doing that, but gaming doing that, which was not the case before. So as Louis from SwissBorg was saying the other day to me, he said, you can't expect to be paid because you're here. It's finished, it's over. So what we call the sectorial dispersion. So the capacity of having bull run, local bull run within certain sector and not good price action on other sector, I think is going to be a thematic that's going to be more and more recurring. So we're going to clearly see winners, losers, and even the world is, globally speaking, want to go back to value. That's what we have right now is the challenge of what value is.
Like a distortion of the space, right? Before it was inflating, deflating, simultaneously. And now it's just, one is losing, the other one is winning. It's like distortion, right?
Yeah. You will have to show value to get value, and it's going to be more competitive. So Bitcoin, invest in Bitcoin. I think you're safe there. I want to believe Ethereum, yes, Solana. They're going to be there if you have long-term horizon. Don't worry. Then when it's going to come to altcoin and being peak altcoin, it's going to be tough. For sure, real-world asset to an extent should play out. I believe now people want to bring stocks on chain. Why? Because the IPO market is stuck anyway. And they see, all these guys, they put so much money into altcoin and memcoin. Let's bring stocks, which is not a bad thing.
No.
It's better to speculate on a very small team located somewhere than going only on the memcoin, which is a PVP type of investment. And last part that I see more and more, which I believe 100%, and I told the guy from BorgPad as well to focus on that, is I think it's Sam Altman that said it first. He say the next unicorn is going to be solo founders or team of less than 5, because AI helped them to automatize so much. Then this big team is now not going to be needed anymore. So if you're able to identify teams that are ahead of the curve and know how to use AI the smart way, potentially they're going to be very, very, very efficient team from burning cost point of view, and they're going to create a massive output. So it means that with very, very little capital, you can achieve the unicorn status, which represents a very, very interesting opportunity.
Yeah, because there is not only the AI automatizing everything, but there is also solution like Zapier, that helps to bring connectivity between all different systems that exist within a company. And that helps you to automatize something between an email, a reply, a CRM, a product, and all that, and so at the end of the day, you're like, but you press on a button, there is a cascade of 20 actions that are triggered through connectivity, AI, bot, etc. and that end up, you're like, okay, I have my post on Instagram, building my community, and it's made through, a robot that is just, timely, pushing, creating, etc. And you're like, okay, I completely agree. And we are investigating that in the company, how to leverage AI, right, to automatize, not only to decrease our cost, but also to do things in a more resilient manner, right, in a more effective manner. And there is so many rooms, there is so many opportunities that indeed, in the future, maybe a team of 4 or 5 will be leading $1 billion company.
And don't forget that the payment plays such a huge role, because before you need a bank account, if there is big payment coming, you need to justify, so you need a legal team and etc. Here you can set up a wallet, have a business going. I'm pushing it, but you have your even your back office can run on chain now. Right? Your back end can be on chain, and you have your payment rails, and you have a service. The service work, payment come. You don't have to pay for AWS and etc. And it goes very fast.
Yeah.
So blockchain help as well a lot within the stack of the new entrepreneur.
I know that you're personally mining some cryptocurrency. That's the job that we do here at Hearst. Tell us a bit what's been the journey of being a crypto miner.
Good question. So first of all, let's start by what it is to be a miner.
Yeah.
So you have the hardcore miner, like you guys, right?
Yeah.
So you buy your machine, you go to your data center, you do, when you do the plumbing when it's not working. So that's the, a more, let's say that's the tough journey of a real Bitcoin miner or real miner guy. I'm more a sophisticated miner, or let's say I'm more, how can I say, lazy miner. So I choose to delegate all these difficult tasks with you guys.
Yeah.
So I buy rigs, buy Bitcoin mining rigs through you, make you a transfer with crypto, witnessing, like waiting for the infrastructure to be deployed, and now connecting to my Hearst dashboard every month. I don't look that often, I trust you guys. And waiting for the Bitcoin to come, pay my electricity bill, and yeah, it's nice journey. I think, again, for the people that have the luxury to be not in a rush to sell Bitcoin, or don't want to try it, but just want to have Bitcoin because they believe it's an asset classes that deserve to be here, like you will do it gold. I guess it's a great solution. You source from the source. You help as well the network to progress. So not only it's a great investment, but as well it helps to build an infrastructure that is necessary for this entire ecosystem to work and last. So it could be easy to be a miner. I choose the easy path. You choose the difficult path.
No. I mean that's what we do. But happy to hear that so far the journey with us has been a good one. Any particular things, getting because look, to build this, I had to put myself in the shoes of a customer. So therefore I deployed my own mining, but not through the way that the technical team are doing at Hearst, right? I did the same as a customer would do, and I started really not only to have this rational, like you have an investment, you build your Bitcoin stack through mining, etc., with the benefits that comes with it, but just, having this feeling, every morning you get the notification of, your wallet that say, hey, you received again today some Bitcoin, right? And how, you're like, that's cool, but everything because you start to forget, right, that you've done this initial investment, and by the time goes by, you just get your Bitcoin, which is cool. Then there is this thing of the electricity invoice, right? So I know that for some customers, they're like, I have to pay an electricity invoice. Everything that has collected is not exactly for me. I have to discount something. We're working on a mechanism, right, to make sure that everything that you get is for you, right, and you don't have to think about it. Okay.
I understand the reward of the passive income is always a joyful sensation, but don't forget, I've been heavily investing into DeFi, so I'm not into the hangover of it, but
I get it.
It's just, I think unfortunately, the first time is always a very specific sensation in life, and then you get used to it, and it's like, I don't know, when you have beautiful weather or you have the sea next to you. You're amazed the first day, first week, and then
Yeah.
it becomes a standard.
Can we say that you're too OG?
Potentially, and it's only on me, right? I have to reconnect with the beauty of what it is to earn through crypto, because for sure, if we go back to this memory, playing with the space felt amazing. It felt so much freedom, and sometimes I think it's a good reminder that you get me there. It feels very great as memory. The freedom that you experience by investing in crypto, because you make money. Now it's becoming more and more difficult, but not only you make money, but the mental stimulation, the creativity, that's what always attract me so much in crypto, is to see how creative people are, and they are free of boundaries that you will find in any other financial system. They are very bound to very, very strict rules, and people come with crazy ideas that usually doesn't end up the right way, but the level of creativity, even in what we call the Ponzi and the scam, it's even sometimes you're not so disappointed if you don't invest too much into a scam, because wow, the engineering behind it was interesting.
Make people creative.
The creativity, and that is sometimes the best sensation ever. So thank you for getting me back.
With big pleasure. Big pleasure. And soon it's going to be a decade you're part of this industry. So
time flies.
Time flies. Thank you, Anto, for being with us today.
It was a pleasure
chatting.
Favorite books that shape your thinking?
There's so many that come to my mind, but I would say The Alchemist, Paulo Coelho.
Bitcoin at 1 million, real or hype?
It's gonna get there, easy.
Okay, bear market or bull market? Which one do you prefer as a builder?
Oh, that's a tough question. So I'll answer. In the previous cycle, I was tired of the bull market, and I say, "Fuck!" And then I regret my words, and I say, "Why did I say that?" Because we took all the shit. But I was a little bit tired of the bull market to be able to, because there's so much noise. But with this cycle, I would say I like the bull market better, to be honest. And I think as well the company is at different level now of maturity. So, but usually as a young company, bear market is always the best.